It is a Missouri getaway that you've probably driven past hundreds of times. But if you stop in Callaway and Fulton County, you will find historic main streets, hidden river views, and small town eats worth the drive. Welcome into Destination Heartland. I'm Sharon Chen with KCTV5 News. So, for this week's Destination Heartland, we're going to show you a weekend trip that you won't even have to get a plane ticket for, but it is just a short drive away, and you got to have a little curiosity. So right now I want to go ahead and bring in Rebecca Mashba. Hi, Rebecca. And Rebecca is marketing specialist for Callaway Chamber of Commerce. We are so glad to have you with us today. All right, so our first question is, what makes Callaway and Fulton County such a unique place to visit compared to other parts of Missouri?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sharon. It's nice to be here. So, Callaway County is full of history, but it's got that small town feel. So, you can go down to the Brick District or Main Street and you see all these people, and they're going to start knowing you by name. The more you come, the more they're going to remember you. We have a ton of history. We have the America's National Churchill Museum, which always surprises people when they learn about Fulton. Um, we have some wineries, outdoor areas. We are just a very large county, which Missouri is full of counties, but we're just smaller but friendly and very close knit. And
Lots of fun places to explore. Let's go ahead and dig into a little bit of the history. So, how did Callaway County and Fulton County, for that matter, get its start? And what are some of the key moments to history?
yeah, so Callaway County was actually established in 1820, the same year that Missouri became a state. There is some local lore that it possibly started a little bit before that in 1805, but it was developed as an agricultural and trade center. And then when Fulton emerged as the county seat, and over time, there were some key historical moments. So the Civil War happened here, Winston Churchill's 1946 visit to Westminster College in Fulton, and that really helped shape the community and the county's identity beyond being just a rural type farm town.
Yeah, I mean, Winston Churchill, that for sure will put you on the map, right? How does Callaway County get its name? Sometimes it's called the Kingdom of Callaway, right? Am I saying that right? And
Yes.
what does the story mean to locals today?
So during the Civil War, local forces led by Jefferson Jones organized to defend the county from Union troops near Wellsville and Avast Creek. Um, they had a whole strategy of bluffing and pretending they had cannons and exaggerating campfires and basically just pretending they have a much larger group of people than they actually did. They ended up making an agreement to avoid conflict, and locals kind of interpreted that as Callaway negotiating its own sovereign entity.
Uh-huh.
So that kind of leads to the nickname of kingdom. So today, that term reflects local pride and identity, but it's also understood as a complex historical story. And we're really appreciative to the Kingdom of Callaway Historical Society, who does awesome work about preserving the history of all of our communities. We have a lot of them.
That's awesome. And so, when you talk about the history, what historic sites and areas can people visit when they come to Callaway and Fulton County, for that matter, to kind of relive that history?
Yeah, so downtown Fulton is pretty much all original buildings. It's
Wow.
called the Brick District. The streets are paved in brick. It's gorgeous. It has 19th century architecture. All of the storefronts are locally owned and it's easily accessible. And then we have the Churchill Museum. So there we have the whole museum. We have a piece of the Berlin Wall that was
Wow.
created into an art display. It's gorgeous to go and see. And if you're traveling around, we have a 9/11 Firefighters Memorial up in Kingdom City. Um, that's a big part of our history too. And then down south in Mocaine, they have their own history. But yeah, most of our history is pretty well preserved, especially around here. And like I said, the Historical Society does a really good job of promoting it. We have walking tours that people can take and
Hmm.
look at all the architecture, and it shows pictures of then and now and gives a little brief history of kind of what happened here and how we grew.
And I think that's so interesting too, because when you talk about architecture, there's so many different, centuries and decades of it. And it's always so interesting to be able to look at it up close and kind of relive it to see how it's changed throughout all the years, right?
Right.
Okay, let's talk about big attractions outside the historical aspect. What other kinds of things can visitors dig into when they come to Fulton and Callaway County?
Yeah, so one of our biggest attractions, obviously, is the America's National Churchill Museum.
Hmm.
It's on Westminster's campus. They have a preserved church, they have a whole museum, and it is a really nice time to just take a stroll, take 2 to 3 hours, and walk through and learn all about Sir Winston Churchill. We also have the Auto World Museum. It was just named in the top 10 museums for car lovers and USA Today's top 10. So that is a huge flashback to history. They have the DeLorean there, they have a whole bunch of beautifully preserved old cars. We have some very nice wineries. So we have Serenity Valley Winery. They do weekend events and live music, and they have Stonefire Pizza. And Canterbury Hill Winery, they do some murder mysteries. They have gorgeous buffets for holidays. So Mother's Day, they just had a really nice one, um, and all those things. And then we have a ton of outdoor attractions. So Little Dixie Lake and Whetstone Creek, as well as some more off the beaten path type things. Like we have a paintball arena,
Oh,
and
wow.
it just depends where you're going in Callaway County, but there is always something to do.
So, and it sounds like something for everyone, all age groups too,
Yes.
right? We talked a little bit about the museums already, and I mean, museums are so wonderful because it kind of helps people connect to the community. Like what I always say when I come to a new town, I love going to the museum because it helps people kind of learn about the community and its history, for that matter.
Yeah, I agree. And especially with the Churchill Museum,
Hmm.
it's huge at how that connects such a small town so globally. Um, Pretty much everyone has heard of the Iron Curtain speech, but very
Yep.
few people know that it happened in Fulton, Missouri.
Yeah. That's for sure. I mean, that's something I'm learning right now, going, wow, that's an incredible historical moment. Okay, from indoors, let's head outdoors. You mentioned a little bit about outdoor life there. Let's talk a little bit about the outdoor activities that families and people can get into when they come to visit.
Absolutely. So we are proud to have part of the Katy Trail in our southern portion of the county. And there are some portions down there where you can do horseback riding.
Oh, wow.
Uh, we have very nice hiking trails as well as Little Dixie Lake where you can go fishing, paddling. We have quite a few campsites as well as Whetstone Creek. They're up north towards Avos, but they're huge. You can see all sorts of prairie land and you can camp out there. We also have Prairie Garden Trust that is preserved by the landowners. You can make an appointment and go out there and spend just hours looking at all the different natural land formations. They even have a preserved coral reef out in their
Hmm.
plain.
What?
Um, it's really impressive for a landlocked state.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my favorite fun facts about Fulton. But we also have an off road park called Van Dyes down in our southern part of the county, and Iron Wing Ranch, where you can create your own trail ride with horses or s'mores, campfires. And then, like I said, paintball, they do a huge thing every year where they make it zombie themed for Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
And we also have the Central Missouri Renaissance Festival up in Kingdom City as well.
That sounds like so much fun. And man, I'm learning about all these different surprises. You've got the Churchill Museum, and then there's the coral reef in the middle of the country. That's amazing.
Right.
When it comes to all this beautiful landscape around there, especially, the outdoor activities, I imagine that scenery kind of changes with the season.
Yes. Yeah, especially being so close to the foothills and the Ozark Mountains, it's you do see some really gorgeous scenery in the spring. There's wildflowers, green landscapes. It's just hills and trees for as far as you can see. And summer, of course, it's Missouri, so sometimes it's very hot and sometimes the weather doesn't want to cooperate, but the lakes are gorgeous and we have a splash pad and the kids love to come out and play on that in the park. And fall, it's just gorgeous. The colors of the trees as you're driving through, even if you're just going from up in Kingdom City down to Mocaine or to Jefferson City, if you're just passing through, it's a gorgeous drive. I definitely recommend it. And all of the time, I want to stop and just take pictures of all of the nice scenery. And then winter, we have snow on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the most treacherous snow, but we make the best of it. We have some winter markets and about 6 parades for winter.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's a
yes,
lot.
always something happening.
And I mean, it's just, that kind of natural landscape always lends to such beautiful scenery, Kodak moments, as you will, as
Yes.
you've said. Let's talk a little bit about the art scene there. What can visitors find, like an art enthusiast that comes to town? What can they find in terms of galleries, public murals, those kinds of things?
Yeah, so we are fortunate. We have some public murals downtown. We have a gorgeous stretching one of kind of the Missouri landscape, but also a mix of what makes Fulton Fulton. We have a whole Fulton mural. It's got a very cute cow on it. Um, the station, which is also downtown, they do live music every Friday in the summers. They have a mural down there. And then William Woods and Westminster have some art galleries as well. I know William Woods has their Kimber Art Gallery and they bring in some really nice art. And those are great places to explore. We also do the farmers market, and sometimes some art vendors come out there. And then a lot of our festivals will have some vendors down there as well.
Love it. And as far as live performances, kind of set up that scene for us if somebody wants to go and rock out there.
Yeah, so the best places are obviously the station or Serenity Valley. Um, They do live music every weekend in the summer. Sea Rock City's really big, so they'll come out. Chloe Hoker comes out. It's just a wide variety of bands and performances. We also have the Brick District Playhouse. They'll put on some shows occasionally, and they do children's theater. So if you're ever interested in seeing some really great performances, they're adorable and really fun to watch. They also did The Odd Couple in February and
Oh,
made it
wow.
kind of a Valentine's date night. So you can pretty much find anything around here.
It sounds like it. And that brick district sounds so interesting too. Lots to get into there.
Yes. Yeah, it's a gorgeous area. We have quite a few restaurants in the Brick District itself and a whole bunch of shops. So,
That is awesome. All right. Well, we get to dig into the restaurants and the shops. That's kind of the what we are going to talk about when we come back. But what we want to do right now is take a quick break and then we'll dig into all of that when we come back with Rebecca. So we'll be right back. And welcome back to Destination Heartland. Today we are exploring Callaway and Fulton County. And boy, I got to tell you, this is an area where there is something for everyone. We've talked about all the things to do, and now we're going to dig into restaurants and shopping and all the fun things, seasonal events. So I'm going to go ahead and bring back in Rebecca with the Fulton, or actually Callaway County Chamber of Commerce. And all right, Rebecca, so let's talk about restaurants and dining in Callaway and Fulton County. Kind of set up that scene for us.
Yeah, so we have quite a wide variety of foods. So we have authentic Cuban cuisine downtown in the Fulton Cafe. Beck's restaurant has been around for quite a while. They're delicious. If you ever want the best cheesecake you've ever had, check out Beck's. They also have very good spin dip. That's my go-to. Go and get a slice of cheesecake, some spin dip and pita, make a whole event of it. They always have a rotating specials menu, and you
Uh-huh.
can try all sorts of things. I know they had barbecue pork belly tacos yesterday, and
Ooh.
I've gotten a dragon fruit chicken sandwich
Oh.
before. Delicious, and they're always trying something new. And then 1851 Underground, they are in the historic Palace Hotel, right next door to me, actually, and they have amazing burgers. It's kind of train station themed, but super great place to hang out. And then up north, we have some ice cream shops and some more like standard things like Mexican restaurants. We have a few fast food options, but our heart and soul is really those locally owned restaurants where you can go and feel like family, even if you're just visiting.
Oh, it totally sounds that way. And when you talk, first of all, you had me at ice cream. I love ice cream. But
Me
you
too.
talked about a couple of different specialties that, were dear to your heart. Let's talk about local specialties. What are some of the ones that when someone comes to Callaway or Fulton County that they really need to try, like that must try dessert food that they can't leave town without doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of our most famous, personally, is Salts. They are a drugstore, but they have old fashioned milkshakes still. So,
Ooh.
they have the whole soda bar setup. If you go and get a malt or a milkshake, make a whole day of it, that is distinctly Fulton. And then if you're looking for up north towards Kingdom City, just go a little bit further east to Williamsburg and you'll get to Cranes. They have basically, if you've ever had a bologna sandwich in your life, homemade by your mother after a long day of being at the pool,
Uh-huh.
that's what you'll find. So they do sandwiches. They're about $3 up to 10, but
Oh, wow.
it's just white bread, a meat. You can put a sauce on there if you want. You can put cheese on there, and it will be the best $3 sandwich of your life.
Takes you right back to
Yes.
childhood, it sounds like. When it comes to like the treats, I know we talked about the soda fountain. What about like candy shops and even coffee shops for that matter? What are some of the must tries there?
Yeah, so we actually have some coffee food trucks. Hitchin Java is really big. She sets up in a parking lot just down the street from me, but she has anything from matcha to coffees. And then we have a dirty soda coffee truck as well.
Oh,
Yes, that's being really big at the moment, but she goes around and sets up at different events as well. Um, and then the Fulton Diner is kind of the go-to for locals for a cup of coffee or to hang out in the morning for breakfast.
is
And
it?
then South Callaway, there's Summit Cafe, and they're adorable coffee shop.
Mhm.
It's just transformed into a drive-through now, but the coffee is still spectacular. I do recommend it.
That sounds yummy. It's so interesting, isn't it, how dirty sodas are such a thing right now?
Yes.
And that's awesome that you guys have one there. And I think that is actually great for families too.
Yes, and they'll do sugar-free options if
There you go.
families are not wanting their kids to get
Right, right.
hyper, and it is very good for family friendly.
I love that. Well, let's go from dining to shopping. So, what kind of shopping is there in Callaway and Fulton County? I mean, I love those local shops where you can find those unique items. What can we find
Absolutely.
there?
So we in the Brick District have a wide variety of things. So we have an antique shop, we have boutiques, we have resale shops. Everything down in the Brick District is locally owned by people who love the community and love engaging with the community. You can find anything from jewelry to new clothes. My personal favorite is Remade. They are a nonprofit boutique that
Oh.
trains and employs adults with disabilities to create like
Mm.
upcycled home decor, clothing, and
Hmm.
gifts. And it's a great place to find a gift. And I think that they're a very unique attraction that you can find pretty much anything that you would want, and you will want it front and center in your home.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And also, when it comes to local shops like that, do you guys have any that have that long family history that they've been like an institution of, the city for so long?
Yeah, Remade did just celebrate their 10-year anniversary, so
Hmm.
they've been around for quite a while. Bex has been here for a while in 1851. Shopping wise, a lot of our shops are newer. They're just getting started and
Uh-huh.
finding their footing, but they're doing great. They have such amazing stuff, and you can spend quite a while just walking through and visiting all of the places.
I love it. And in the brick district, is it very walkable? Like you really don't need your car?
Yeah, you can park nearly anywhere and just walk. All of the Brick District, it's about 2 blocks max.
Hmm.
But yeah, pretty much everything is down there. We do have like a standard shopping center in Fulton itself with like shoe sensation and that sort of thing. But all of our major locally owned kind of businesses are in that brick district, as well as restaurants and anything you could possibly need. But yes, very walkable and gorgeous. Of course, the bricks are my heart. They're lovely.
It just sounds like an awesome day to spend down there. Let's talk about seasonal events and festivals. So, what are some of the big signature events that bring people to town every year, or just people celebrating in town?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just got finished celebrating morels and microbrews in the Brick District. That happens every year. We fry up some morels, we bring fresh morels, and then it's just a day-long festival. There's beer samples and alcohol samples and live music, vendors, and it's all mushroom themed, and
Oh,
it's
how
it's
fun!
so much fun. I got to volunteer this year, and it was great. We also do the Fulton Street Fair. That's coming up in June. It's June 12th and 13th. They'll have a parade and a kiddie corral and a car show, carnival rides, a karaoke contest. That happens every year as well, and it brings in a lot of families and joy, and people love it. And then in the winter, we do holiday open houses downtown. So there's carriage rides and cocoa and super fun, cozy get together, as well as like holiday markets that bring people so authentic, where there's vendors and artisans, and you can pick your own tree. And it's gorgeous in the winter as well.
And you said that there's 6 parades. Now, are those all in the Christmas season, or when are those parades?
Yeah, so we have more than six outside of the
Oh,
Christmas season,
oh my
actually.
goodness.
We're very big on parades here.
I love
Yes,
it.
those six are in the holiday season. Nearly every community in Callaway County has a holiday parade of some sort, and they're not typically on the same day. So if you're wanting to hit up about 3 or 4 parades in a week, you absolutely can. Um, they're all a lot of fun. The holiday parades in Fulton, we do too, normally a Friday and a Saturday. So one at night and then one in the daytime. But kids love it. We have a fake snow machine that
Oh,
spits out snow and makes it a winter wonderland, and it's so great. Yeah, we do a lot of parades. Like I said, we have one for the street fair coming up. It's it brings us joy. We're a very joyful, very exciting community.
well, it sounds like it. And this is what I love, about the seasonal events and the festivals, because this is when you can really kind of see what the community is about and capturing the spirit of that community, right? I absolutely love it. And we talked a little bit about seasons when it comes to outdoor life. What about, the seasons affecting, festivals and seasonal events? Because I think each season you capture it so well in Callaway and Fulton County.
Yeah, so I always recommend the best time to visit is spring through early fall, or if you're
Uh-huh.
looking for a small town kind of Christmassy getaway feel like you see in movies, I definitely recommend winter. We have a B&B that you can stay at and make it an absolute like movie moment. Wake up in a B&B, go to the Christmas market, see some carolers, and then hit up a Christmas parade. You can live those romance film dreams
Uh-uh.
pretty easily in the winter as well. Uh, but yeah, spring through early fall, especially with the scenery and morels and microbrews. Um, and then just it's gorgeous pretty much any time though.
And it's, I mean, the holiday vibes that you're telling me about, that's giving me a Hallmark movie kind of theme going
Yes.
on there, right? I love it. I love it. And this year we've got some big milestones coming up. We've got the World Cup coming here to Kansas City, and also America's 250th. Now, given you guys aren't that far from Kansas City, and with your rich history, what kind of events do you guys have planned coming up for those milestones?
Yeah, so for the World Cup, we're probably going to do some watch parties. I know the Churchill Museum is really excited for Manchester United to be playing.
Uh-huh.
It's very connected to Churchill, and we're very excited to cheer them on locally. As for the 250th, the Historical Society is going to have a Revolutionary War themed scavenger hunt
Oh,
in
wow.
June. And then our southern part of Callaway County in Mocaine, we're participating in the Katy Trail Walk. It's going to be through here in September, but they're going to do a event where they have like the band play on the trail and hopefully have some vendors and that sort of thing. We're just really excited to celebrate as a community, and I'm sure more events will pop up as we get further on. I'm sure we'll do something large for the 4th of July and really go all out, probably have a parade.
Yeah. Parade
But
Central.
those are our solid plans right now.
I love it. Okay, so let's end on this note. I always ask for someone who's maybe planning a weekend getaway right now, what can you say to them that would say, you got to come to Callaway and Fulton County? You don't want to miss visiting here.
Perfect. Yeah. So I would say if you've ever felt like you don't belong somewhere or you are wanting to get away somewhere that just feels like being wrapped in a nice warm hug,
Uh-huh.
Callaway County is your place. We're small, but we're friendly and we have so much to see and explore and enjoy. And there's really something for everyone. If you've ever been interested in history, or if you want to explore something off the beaten path, or just slow down for a minute, we're the best place to come.
I love it. That sounds awesome. Well, Rebecca, I really want to thank you for joining us today for Destination Heartland.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
And that does it for this week's episode of Destination Heartland. I certainly hope you had fun exploring Callaway and Fulton County with me. I'm Sharon Chen with KCTV 5 News. I'll see you for our next virtual trip next week.